Former President Trump continuing to take credit for helping kill a bipartisan border deal that took months to negotiate. Trump urged Republicans to vote against the bill before details were even announced. And this weekend, he touted the bill's demise on the campaign trail.
This week, we also had another massive victory that every conservative should celebrate. We crushed crooked Joe Biden's disastrous open borders bill. Crushed it. Mike Johnson did a very good job, and the whole group did a great job in Congress. We crushed it.
Trump is promising that if he is elected president, he will shut down the southern border and carry out the largest deportation campaign in American history. We're joined now by Brandon Judd. He's the president of the National Border Patrol Council, which endorsed this bipartisan border bill that was negotiated with the White House, Democrats, Republicans, and independents as well. We're hearing, Brandon, from congressional Republicans who they're not often at odds, right, with your union, but they are when it comes to this border bill. I want to listen to Senator Marco Rubio this weekend, where he was on State of the Union with Jake Tapper.
They say this is better than nothing. It should become law. Are you saying that the Border Patrol Union is wrong?
Yes. If that's what they still believe, they're wrong. It's not better than nothing.
I mean, what's your reaction to that?
Well, I wish he would explain why it's not better than nothing. I can go through point by point and explain exactly why it's much better than what our current law is. I mean, it raises the bar for credible fear. It allows us to detain single adults until deportation proceedings. It speeds up everything. It takes the judiciary out of this process, and we know that the courts are completely and totally backed up. There's an awful lot of things that this allows us to do. Now, the main argument that you're going to get is it's going to say that it codifies 5,000 apprehensions per day, but they don't discuss what our current laws do. So again, I'm comparing this bill to our current laws.
So he does say what he says, and he credits that credible fear, the increased threshold for it, which would mean you have less people who actually qualify for asylum. But Rubio's saying it creates this asylum core. Yes, you're completely right. So many Republicans are citing that 5,000 number. Are Republicans who oppose the bill, are they being honest about what it does and how they're describing these provisions? I
think the vast majority of the Republicans that I've spoken with just haven't had enough time to dig into it, look at it, evaluate the bill. You know, I had my attorneys immediately the moment that bill came out, and so there's an issue right there that is, let's give it a little bit more time. Let's look at this, but it got brought to the floor within a couple days of it being released. And so I think that the more they dig into it, I think that the more people actually look at this, the more people are going to recognize there was an awful lot of good to this bill. There was some bad. There's absolutely no doubt about that, which is why we said from the get-go, this isn't the perfect bill, but there's an awful lot of good in there as well.
But it seems like this effort is dead, that this chance may not come up again. And I've heard from so many Republicans who have said, we're never going to get this kind of deal again. That for many of them, they see this as a once in a lifetime opportunity at this kind of reform.
No, I don't think it's dead at all. In fact, I think it's going to come up again and again, because the Democrats know that they have to solve this issue. They know that this is a very bad issue going to them. But I do think that this would have been a huge win for the Republicans. If they would have supported this, they actually would have been able to say, we forced the Democrats to do this. We forced the Biden administration to give us what we wanted. Well, again, when you look at this, I know for a fact that this would have driven down the flow. And if we would have gotten specific provisions that were in this bill, if we would have gotten that, it would have driven down the flow, and we would be able to better secure the border today if we have this.
You have been in D.C. for well over a week.
I have.
You've been up on Capitol Hill trying to convince members of Congress as you see this bill, which certainly you understand how these things will work, these provisions here. Oh, how's it going?
So I'm not trying to convince anybody. What I'm doing is I'm here letting them know this is the reason that we support this. Here's the provisions in the bill that are very good, and the feedback's been very good. Again, people understand that there's a lot of good in this bill. It was simply a matter of time. Do we have the time to dig into this? Do we have the time to look at all of the specific provisions and how that's going to impact border security? And the more and more that they look into it, the more they're recognizing there was a lot of good in this bill.
Former President Trump mentioned you over the weekend. Did you notice that?
I did.
Okay, so he was telling a story about how previously you'd given him your top 10 wishes for border policy. And I'm curious, when it comes to this issue of the credible fear threshold, tougher threshold for claiming asylum, where does that fall on your top 10 wish list?
It's probably number 2. Number 1 has to be catch and release. You have to stop catch and release. If we don't stop that magnet, the people are going to continue to come. But then we have to stop the gaming of the loopholes, which is then credible fear. So there's a number of things that he recognized. There's a number of things that he did very, very well in office. And again, that's the reason why I continue to support him, is because his policies were fantastic for the American people as it pertained to border security. I would argue that his policies were very good for the American people on nearly everything that he did, but border security was fantastic. I have not. I haven't had the opportunity to speak with him. I know that he has his reasons for not supporting this bill. I have my reasons for supporting it. We can have policy discussions. We can have policy disagreements, and that's one of the things that I really like about him. You can disagree with him, and he'll continue to work with you.
Brandon, will you endorse him?
Oh,
again?
Absolutely. I haven't officially said we endorse him, but it's obvious that we endorse him. Yes, we endorse President Trump. Yes.
All right. Brandon, Judd, thank you so much for being with us. We do appreciate it.